It is Larry Long. That's what they say. Junior. That's a confusing title, Mr. Larry. Oh, uh, I think Larry. I can't. Larry, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
Okay.
I just had to make sure that my microphones, that's plural, were working
Two,
now. No, no, come on now.
three,
Don't do
three. Oh
sharing
no.
this care.
Oh God. Which one's your favorite color? Let's do a Myers-Briggs like color disc analysis on this, Larry John.
Come on
Larry,
now. It's got to be the rose gold because it
the rose
matches
gold.
it matches my heart. And I mean, I got the whole bag of tricks. I think they said you got to coordinate. It matches the glasses.
Wait.
Come
What
on
is
now.
that? Is that a baseball bat?
It is. Batter
Okay.
up.
Okay, so tell me how you use a baseball bat on stage when you're energizing sales reps.
Come on now. I played baseball at University of Maryland.
Oh,
I talk about strikeouts. They're a part of life, but sometimes my audiences want to go to sleep on me. I'm just kidding. And you got to wake them up.
you're like Bam Bam. Was that Pebbles from the Flintstones? So I'm supposed to say a word like Turk to you, and you're supposed to know what that means from John B. Molitor. Turk?
Terp. University of Maryland Terrapins. We're the Terps. And Dr. John, I'm sending so much love, sending prayers to him. I love Dr. John Molitor.
Yeah. He was actually the first guy interviewed after the Global Speaker Summit in Bali, where you and I met at a buffet line, where you said, "You just be you, girl." And I was like, "Well, then I will have another donut. Thank you very much, motivational speaker. Thank you." So those 4 extra kilos since Bali. Round of applause for Mr. Long Jr.
I love it. I love it. Well, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here with you.
Okay. So I just met a guy on LinkedIn and he calls himself Juice Man. And he's here right now. Juice Guy is here. What's your little nickname that you have that people say about you? I say the Black Tony Robbins, but I'm not sure if that's appropriate. So what's your nickname?
I'm honored and humbled by that. But I'm CEO, Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises. And I love Stan Phelps. Stan is my mentor. He's a great friend, speaker colleague. Stan was in Bali with us at the Global Speaker Summit.
Same haircut. Do you have a fan group that kind of is like, I want to be more like you, and they buy little mini microphones so they don't think that you're gonna get jealous if they're stealing? Or do you feel honored when people kind of copy your style?
Oh, I'm honored. I mean, I'm so flattered. And yeah, my barber's mad at me. I went to the barber shop with my son. He's got a full head of hair. And the barber looked at me and I said, "Come on, Cletus."
Cletus. That's a good name. Cletus. Okay. So you have one kid, 2 kids, 3?
I've got 2, 15-year-old son, Trey. Wow, time flies. He's 6'2", so he towers over me. He's talking with bass in his voice. And then I've got 11-year-old daughter, little Lucia. I've been blessed with an amazing family. Beautiful wife, Maria, who's from Argentina. Que pasa, loca? So life is good. Todo bien.
For those of you who don't know, he just called his wife, "What's up, crazy?" So yeah, it's cute when you say it in Spanish, though, right?
I can get away with it.
I thought you were doing the like Austin Powers thing, or you're just wiping a little bit of breakfast. Okay, we just watched Austin Powers. My boyfriend.
Don't give away all my secrets. Come on now.
Okay, so who's your favorite comedian? Like, I love Austin Powers, but it's too clowny for my friends. They're like, "Oh, this is too silly." I'm like, "Silly is the best. You're silly." You like Ace Ventura? Did you like Robin Williams? Who's your guy?
I'm a big Kevin Hart fan. I love Kevin Hart. I love Chris Rock. Grew up with Chris Rock, and yeah, those guys are my inspiration in terms of humor.
Look at Barry says LL Cool Jr. That's fun.
The original LL Cool J. Don't tell anybody else, Barry. Great to see you, BT.
So let's hear you sing it. I also have my own microphone, bro.
Oh, goodness gracious. Nah, you don't want to get me singing. Is that a banana? Yeah.
Oh, how do you hold a banana? How would a monkey hold a banana? Isn't there like a trick? You're supposed to eat it like this?
I don't know. Mine is a banana phone, though. Can you hear me now? Hello?
You forgot the country code. You Americans always forget 00 and then those two numbers in Europe, right? That's why no one from America calls me for gigs. I think because they don't quite get how to call Europe. So I got an LA number.
Yet. We'll say they don't call you yet. Now you're on the map.
Now started dialing, right?
Oh, so great to see Anthony. Oh my goodness. Anthony had one of the most amazing sessions during Global Speakers Summit. And I had my first in-person engagement of the year tonight. I'll be implementing some of the tips that Anthony talked about in terms of engagement and making sure that people remember what you're talking about. Willis.
Willis, just for those Americans out there. Was Willis your hero? Because he was one of the first colored funny people that I remember from the 80s, like early 90s.
What you talking about, Willis?
Exactly. You kind of look
like I say that now, and people say, who is Willis?
Oh.
What is he talking about?
Oh, no. You'd be like, whatever, millennial Gen Z. You don't know. Okay, so Steve Urkel was my favorite of all times. Did you love Stevie?
Did I do that?
Okay, so I wanted to marry Steve Urkel until I met Tony Robbins, but Tony's, well, I guess he's probably off the list for me, but Steve Urkel possibly still available. I don't know. I haven't heard from him in a while. And then I pretty much married a black dude that looks like, you know, when Steve Urkel converted?
To Stefan.
I pretty much like married Stefan, and now Stefan needs glasses and is getting funnier by the year. So I've like created Stefan Steve Urkel, the man of my dreams.
Did I do that?
Oh yeah, a funny guy. Funny guys are like, well, the number one thing on Tinder, right, is, well, height and then sense of humor. So
okay, I guess
funny tall guy. So your son, call me. No, inappropriate. Different strokes for different folks. Okay, thank you, Stan. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. Different strokes for different folks. Oh my goodness.
That is a great segue into Stop Being Silly, Larry and Jessica, and get into some actual content. So my idea was people like you know, are off the charts in energy. I don't know what your down days look like, but they probably look like the most excited day for a German engineer, nevertheless, right? So that what you bring to a stage is high. And I know almost no one who brings what you bring. And is that necessary in today's market with the low attention spans, with the Gen Zs who are turning off, who are can't, or can everyone have their own style, or does everyone have to have their own style, but jump it up a notch?
I encourage people to do you, boo-boo. And that's what I shared with you in the line, because I can't be anyone else. They're all taken. As much as I would love to be Anthony or Linda or Stan, I can only be Larry Long Jr. And essentially, I'm going to be the best Larry Long Jr.
Woo! Wait, do that again.
Yeah, I just want to let everyone else out there know, if no one's told you so far today, you are awesome. And I believe we are all awesome. We've got awesomeness inside of us. And I wrote a book called Jolt, because sometimes we need to be zapped back into that intentionality to live in our inner greatness. So I believe that folks should be their authentic self on the stage. Don't try to mimic anyone else. Just be your natural self.
Okay. And then part B is what if your authentic self is like super smart, Steve Urkel type without the humor? Like Stefan wasn't so funny, and he wasn't so, he was cool. Like, does cool work on stage when people need like some jolt? How do you balance being yourself but being higher energy, because you are on a stage and you are part of the kind of entertainment budget? How does that work?
The experience. And you said the magic word. I'm a wordsmith. You said that 4-letter word called work. So if you realize that you might not be naturally humorous, my encouragement would be for you to work at it. Now, I'm no Allen Iverson, but we're talking about practice. Yes, not the game, practice. You can practice your humor. You can work on ways that you can engage the audience, engage the crowd, and do it in your own special way. Now, I think I'm having a bad hair day. You'll have to apologize. I'll have to apologize. You'll have to pardon me. But I encourage people to practice their humor and to focus on it.
And those as my German uncles are, and a lot of I live very close to Germany here in Barcelona, humor is not serious. Professionals that are funny are valued less because these are serious topics. The world is going to shit. There's another war. Trump is in power. How can we laugh when things are so bad? How do you answer that to my dear uncles?
Well, I love your uncle, and I would just have to say, I respectfully, we'll just have to agree to disagree. I'm a big fan that laughter can cure everything. And essentially, all we can do is control the controllables. All those things that you listed, yes, it's true. That's going on in the world. Yeah. I can't control that. I can control, and I've got the button here from my good buddy John Barrows. He calls this acronym EAT. He says you can control your emotions, your actions, and your attitude, and how you treat other people. Outside of that, what else can you control?
Eat. I'm a big fan of that one.
So am I. I'm trying to eat less, so I'll flip it and call it tea, and I'll say unsweetened tea. I used to load up my tea with sugar, but I'm trying to cut down. I'm down 24 pounds since October 15th. I put on that Bali. I put on some pounds in Bali, but I'm down.
Wow. I just saw like one top upper corner of an ab. Wow. So
I got a 2-pack.
A 2-pack. I got a 1-pack. Second's not bad, huh?
It beats the kid that I used to have.
The kid. This time you're carrying the third child. That's very equality of you. So this eat, which is like, if you can't control it, eat. That's how I'm interpreting that message. And
you don't have to tell me twice. I keep a chicken wing close by.
Oh my God, that's so American, cute, KFC-ish. That's hilarious.
It's bow time, Bojangles. I spoke for the National Protein and Food Distributors Association, and they were giving out these keychains. I love it. Oh, tastes like chicken.
Totally, except for it's Bali snake. Great. Love it. Billy Keels. Do you know Billy?
I need to know Billy. What's up, Billy?
Billy's in Barcelona. And Billy, I saw him on stage a couple weeks ago, and I was like, man, you have to be up here more. And he's just like falling back in love with being on stage because he has so many talents for coaching, and like he was in the executive world over in your country. And now he's realizing, like, using your voice, you can reach a lot more people. So you were a sales rep you were a sales coach. You're Mr. Salesman. Did you sell cars ever?
No, I didn't have the pleasure. I sold a lot of software, but never cars.
Okay. Well, you're not that type. So when you get on a bigger stage, and what motivated you to get on a bigger stage, like for Billy here, Billy Jr., it also sounds like one of those American names, like Billy Jr., come on over. Sorry for the accent. But why bigger stages instead of just a small group? What is the power when we are our authentic selves on stages? What changed for you when you started, talking louder?
Impact. And for me, I went through a reckoning of trying to figure out, what is my purpose? Why does God have me on this earth? And the word it comes back to is impact. And I was having impact on a smaller scale with the sales teams that I was leading and the sales teams that I was working with. And someone's knocking at my door. Who is it? The opportunity knocked at my door, just like it's knocking at your viewers and your listeners' door, to have greater impact. Now, oftentimes I heard the knock and I didn't answer it, but eventually I answered that door, and the opportunity it unlocked great impact, global impact. Now, I think Pitbull is called Mr. Worldwide. Well, please let him know. Watch out now. I'm coming for the throne to be Mr. Worldwide on the motivational speaker circuit. Watch out now.
Watch out. Worldwide. So there's like two different routes to getting, as I've understood in the last 4 years of working in the motivational speaking field. Well, and by I say working in that field is trying to build a career in that field, was like, take what I already have and the people I already know and start selling the motivational courses, start selling the courses on a positive psychology and improv, clown, adaptable, blah, 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 all the stuff that I do. Or do what I love, 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 but don't sell very much. And I see you have like 42,000 followers. Like, what?
I do. Where's that? Where are they at?
They're behind that curtain. Don't look now.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
looking for them.
So do you think that like this idea of impact, because we can't make impact if nobody knows our name. So there's kind of like two routes that I understood. And you would had a similar process that you didn't start like going on the big stages until like in your late 20s, which is around a couple of years ago, I guess, right?
Yeah, we'll stick with that story.
Yeah. The process for making impact. Like if you don't have a big presence, how will people know your name? Like that's confusing for me. If you don't have a very high level of energy, if you're not around a lot, if you're not very extroverted, how are people going to know you?
Yeah, so you made a lot of great points. I'm first going to start off with this naughty word that we call selling and sales. My first keynote was sales is not a 4-letter word. It's not a naughty word. Oftentimes we look at sales and it's like, oh, but sales isn't about being that shady used car salesman ready to do a deal. Sales is about solving problems. So number one, if you solve real problems, word is going to get out. Now, I do have to tell you, you got to sell. You have to market. Sales and marketing is important because there's plenty of great speakers, great thought leaders that no one knows of. Well, how do you make sure people know you? They like you. They trust you. They believe in you. You got to get out there. Now, how do you get out there? There's plenty of avenues. There's this 500-pound phone. Reach out and touch someone. A lot of people are allergic to this phone. Yeah. There's emails. There's snail mail. When was the last time that you actually wrote a snail mail note? There's social media platforms. My platform of choice is LinkedIn. I get 90% of my business from LinkedIn. Now, I had a sales guru, Steve Nudelberg, down in South Florida. He said, Larry, what I learned in my 30 years of selling is the difference between contacts, people you know, and contracts, people you do business with, is the letter R. That letter R stands for relationships. It's not what you know. It's not even who you know.
Crap. Who is it? What is the
host? It's who knows you, who likes you, who trusts you, who believes in you, that really makes things happen. So how are you building that KLT and B factor where people know you, they like you, they trust you, they believe in you? I'm looking at some of the comments and I see some of my friends, Stan Phelps, nothing but love, Anthony, great to see you, Brian Owens just hired me for the 4th time. You talk about trust. I mean, that's a friend. I'm blessed to be able to call him a friend. I try to make friends with everybody. I try to make impact with everybody where folks say, I want to bring him in because he adds value. He solves problems. So that would be my encouragement to anyone that wants to pursue this. And also the realization that it's not easy. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it.
Yeah. I'm doing it well. I'm doing it. No.
Yeah, I hear you. Go ahead, LL.
Cool, that seems inappropriate. I'm doing it well. I'm doing it. Okay. Back to the content, folks. So, so I hear this. And then at GSS, which is the Global Speaking Summit, which we were in Bali with a couple of us that you see here, the little reunion. There's a lot of ChatGPT on PowerPoint still. And I know you wouldn't do that. And I certainly didn't do that with my chubby Barbie story. But what's this fear of being ourselves on stage when you're also entertained? I'm going to be honest. I don't think that you can be your complete self if your complete self is not using humor and not using engaging storytelling. You can't be you if you don't have those two skills. Am I off on that? Or if you have ChatGPT just wiped out any kind of like content focused speaker?
Well, I mean, let's call a spade a spade. We don't have an information problem. I've heard this from plenty of people. There's plenty of information out there. We've got Google, we got ChatGPT, we've got plenty of bots out there. I can get information anywhere. But essentially, how do I encourage people to take action? It's implementation. And I believe that that's our job. Now, how do we do that? Humor could be a part of it, the education and the information, the delivery. And then you made a great point about the storytelling and story selling to get people to actually transform. I'll give you a perfect example. Anthony, when I came into his keynote, I was Larry Long Jr. I just went through and I relied on humor. When I left his keynote, I realized and I added to my repertoire that I need to be intentionally thinking, how can my audience actually take and remember all the great nuggets that I shared and actually do something with it? I'll give you an example. I had my first virtual engagement last week with a repeat client, and I shared with them right from the jump, I apologize. I failed you. They said, what do you mean, Larry? I said, who remembers anything that I shared with y'all last year? I was with them for 3 days in Myrtle Beach. I went back in Q2, went back in Q3, and it was like crickets. 2 people, one person said, I remember you gave us the quote from your mom, your actions speak so loud, I can't hear what you're saying. The other person said the 5-minute challenge. It's actually the 3-minute challenge, but close enough. But that was it. And I said, I'm afraid to ask this question. Who actually did something with what we talked about? Crickets, 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 crickets. I haven't done my job. And I shared with them that won't happen again. See, I'm going to see them again on the 17th of January. And I told them, I'm not Panera. We have a place called Panera Bread where you can go and pick 2. I said, Larry Long Jr. is just asking you, pick 1. I want you to pick one thing that you're committed to doing and you're going to do it. And if you don't, Mama said, knock you out. We're going to have some punishment. But it's just a strong encouragement that if you learn and you don't do, you're just wasting your time. You're wasting my time, my energy, my resource, and no one wants that.
Okay, I'm going to be kind of controversial, tough here, and you can answer it any way you want because I know you will. Okay, so I'm a therapist, and I would have clients, and you would see changes over time. Yes. And so I could call my sessions transformational, but not in one session. Yep. And I have a real problem with how people sell their talks as transformational, using that word. Because as any person with a teenager knows, one pep talk, no matter if you are Tony Robbins or Larry Jr., one pep talk doesn't change habits, right? There's like repetition to it. So I find that workshops is where the transformation happens. Talks are largely slotted with information, but also a high level of entertainment value and like, wow, this guy is here to inspire us. So the motivational speaking is alive and well, but that's not where the transformations happen in my personal case.
You nailed it. Jessica, I can't dispute that. But you get the rinse out on that one. You nailed it. And I'm going to say yes. And if I plant that seed and the person takes it and it takes root and they water it, they get sunlight, they roll up their sleeves and put down the funky fertilizer. Now they can have that true transformation over time. I'll give you an example. I've been going to the gym consistently with my wife and I've seen results. Now, a 6-pack starts in the kitchen, but essentially if I did it one day, I went to the gym one day, I ate a salad one day, you're absolutely correct. I would be crying saying, where's the change? Yeah. Over time. And it's similar with the concepts that we share. Now, the key is how do we make sure that it takes root? How do we make sure that people leave and do something? And I love that you're talking about workshops, and how do we continuously come back and make sure that it's a daily habit, a daily routine? I'm doing this. My sister got me this. Oh, sorry for the glare. It's called the 5-minute journal. I've actually been using it to plan out my day, to reflect on the previous day at night. My hope is that I can be consistent, or else it loses its value. It's not as valuable as it could be.
So then, which is like, well, speaker to speaker, I'm considering like marketing myself like not as the motivational humor speaker that I've been doing for 3.5 years, but talking about workshops for 1,000 people. Because if they don't do any actions, any NLP, any of the improv exercises, any of the reframing and unlearning in the audience, they will not walk away with any really tips, because it will just be blah, blah, blah monologue, which is as useless as a pastor trying to tell you to stop saying bad words once every 6 days, right? So do you think that's like a good idea? Like focusing more on like the keynote, key shop. I just made up a new concept, not a keynote, but a workshop. What do you think?
I would encourage, once again, I said it before, I would encourage you to do you. Whatever, because I heard this from Warren Gresham, who's a speaker Hall of Famer. He said, hey, Larry, be careful of the you got us. And we just had a surprise visitor. Come on in, come on in. My wife, my dog snuck in, Tippy. Yeah,
Hola.
he snuck into my room. He wanted to be a part of the broadcast.
Oh, totally. You're nice. Oh, wow. She does look like
pasa loca.
Hey, she doesn't look loca. She looks great. Taking her to the gym. You guys are taking 2025 seriously. Your dog looks good too.
Oh, Tippy, Tepito, little man in Spanish. But essentially, Warren said, be careful that you got us. You talk to 10 people that are professional speakers and you'll get 10 different opinions. You got to have a website. You got to have a speaker reel. You got to have a TEDx talk. He said, they told me you got to get rid of that New York accent. He said, why? So I can sound like each and every one of y'all and be broke and unbooked? You got to do you. And Jessica, I learned this from another colleague of mine, Mark Pittman. He's a CSP. He went to the CSP CPAE summit. I said, what did you learn, Mark? He said, I learned that I have the answers. He said, I've been searching, and I'm a voracious note taker. I got notebooks out the wazoo. He said, I've been searching for the answers to my business from someone else. He said, I know the answer. When he shared that with me, it hit me right in the heart that Larry Long Jr., you know the answer. Jessica B., you know the answer. So I would encourage you to follow your heart. Like you said, you've been doing this for 3.5 years. You've been figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Follow that path and be open to learning along the way, being flexible, changing, iterating when needed, but most importantly, having fun. Life is too short. You know this, to not have fun. Go for it. Go for it. It's you're either going to win fabulously or you're going to learn fabulously. Either way, it's a huge win, and have some fun with it. My life is full of adventure and oftentimes misadventure, and the misadventures make for the best stories.
True that, huh?
This industry is tough. I don't know if anyone's actually cracked the code. But I love Lenora Billings Harris, CSP, CPAE, past president of NSA. She said, choose the lifestyle that you want and then build your business around it.
Oh,
powerful. Okay. That intentionality. Think about and choose the lifestyle that you want. For me, I want to be with my kids. I want to travel with my wife. She's going with me to Singapore. From Bali, I was able to secure. I'm speaking to the Asia Professional Speakers Singapore. My wife's coming along. My kids are coming with me to Scottsdale for NSA, the NSA annual convention, Influence. That's the life that I want. I want to travel internationally, Mr. Worldwide. I want to golf internationally. My wife and I are taking our golf clubs to Singapore. I want to take the family internationally. Yeah, this ain't a game. We're being very intentional with what we do.
I would like to work 1 hour a week, do one wonderful gig, and then spend the rest of my time doing the stuff that I really love. But to get that 1 hour a week, it's like, it's hundreds of phone calls. It's the emails, it's the post. It's like, it's a crowded market, right? So it is wonderful to have that lifestyle as the goal. In my early days, 4 years ago, when I started doing motivational speaking, I thought, okay, I can market myself as a workshop leader or as a speaker, right? I can do both. Okay. I had to learn how to become good on stage. And now 4 years have passed, I'm okay on stage. But you can get paid a lot more for that, like on stage thing than the workshop thing. So it's like, how many calls to make that money? Like, does that play? You're a sales guy. Shouldn't you go for the biggest, the longest term project instead of like the short gigs? Is that like part of your plan of how to secure a lifestyle of luxury.
It can be. I mean, I've had this conversation as I was planning for 2025. I do some coaching one-on-one, but that's not where
Mm,
I'm focusing my attention. My attention
mhm.
is on the speaking and the emceeing on the main stage. I'm
Yeah.
building a community because I love the group. Just thinking back to GSS, that was an amazing time. I was in my zone, being
Yeah.
surrounded by the energy of people, learning and
Yeah.
growing and interacting. So I'm building that. I'm also building an online class. I think they call it one and done. Some people would say, Larry, no, you want to do one and have some fun and keep going. Well, for me, if that's the case, I might as well go back to corporate America. It's got me
Mm.
breaking out in hives. There's a reason why I went out on my own. I
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
the trend. I like the transactional. I've got a
Yeah.
speaking engagement. It's a home court advantage here in Durham today. I'm going to Elon next week. I'm going to London,
Elon
Ontario,
Musk.
Myrtle Beach. I love that. Being able to flip the script and have something new each and every week. That's what I
Mm,
desire. So how do I make the
mm.
financials work? It is having that back end. And I used to have a bigger
You
back end,
see, and boy, back that thing up. You big round thing. Let me back there. Yeah. My mystic brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, okay. You've inspired me to sing 90s North American rap
don't hurt him, JB. I got sunshine.
on a cloudy day. Well, you are that sunshine that I need. And I think that's the key. If your personality, and you nailed it, if your personality is big, you got this huge energy, this positivity, you're like born to be a motivational speaker, right? It's like it's you can feel that. Other people don't have that. They're great therapists, they're great lawyers, they're great. And if those people also want to speak, they'll find there are people who appreciate listening to them, I would say.
That's right. You find your crowd.
And when you go to be a motivational speaker, there better be energy. We can agree on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't energize, it's a combination of information, inspiration, and really it's a feeling. You got to make people feel something. They've got to feel something, or else it's going to be tough to bring you back. It's going to be tough to refer you. There's a great book called The Referable Speaker that talks
Oh,
about our product is
yeah.
us and our programs. And how do we make people feel where they can refer us and say, that was mind blown? I'm always honored when folks say, Larry, we would love to have you back. That's the biggest badge. Or when they refer me to other folks, that means that my product is referable and is
Yeah.
impactful and is adding value, solving problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Mm.
you mentioned something about the sales aspect. You're right. We're casting a whole lot of lines out there. Now, what I would encourage people, for me, the line that's worked best is LinkedIn. It's creating content so that you can create your lane. My lane is sales acceleration, and leveraging LinkedIn to grow relationships
Mm.
in order to grow your business.
Mm.
Not just to grow relationships, just to grow relationships. We want to serve people. We want to help people. We want to enter into business relationships with people. LinkedIn is one of the best platforms for me, being in the corporate and association world.
Mm-hmm. And why did you choose to go with motivational speaker about sales instead of sales expert speaker? Like those are two different kind of like things when a project planner thinks of who's going to come on stage.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've got a few lanes. I've got the sales. I've got the jolt, which is purely electric and energy. I mean, and then I've got the LinkedIn lane as well. I'm not a marketing genius. That's why I lean on Stan Phelps to give me that marketing genius right there. And I'm going through a website revamp where I'm thinking about my messaging really
Yeah.
from the perspective of those folks that I'm hopeful will hire me. What are they looking for? What are the terms that they look for? So you just planted a seed in my brain to think about how do I position myself to make sure the market is crystal clear about what you get with LLJR.
You get singing and a lot of props. That's all I know.
Who got the props?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
man, there it is. LLJR. My good buddy Cynthia Barnes hooked me up with this for Christmas. I love it. Love
It's huge. So part of your contract is like, I don't need M&Ms in my room before my white room, whatever that's called, my backstage room.
the green
I need,
room. Yeah, I'm not a diva.
what is it called? Green room. Okay. Because the ones I've been to haven't been green, but I've been in shady comedy clubs. You probably have like this little clause that's like, I will need a suitcase carry-on just full of microphones. No, just bring one. No, that won't work. No, I need one down left pocket, right pocket.
Love it. Love it.
Okay, because when I was traveling in Asia, there's this thing. The guy who created the Global Speaker Summit is Scott Friedman. He was at the event as well, and not that he created the federation, but that he was an NSA president and blah blah blah. And when I was traveling with him, Martin, who was a GSS president that year, he said there's two types of speakers. You have the expert speaker and you have the motivational speaker. You're either one of those two. And I was like, oh, that's such an interesting simplification. So when you're talking about Jolt is the motivational speaker. You're talking about sales expert, that's the expert role, right? And if you're talking about LinkedIn, again, that's the expert over here. So it is very interesting because, of course, there's not like motivational speakers out there that are just like, I'm just full of energy and have no content. Like, of course, we have these skills behind us that we are experts in, yet the motivational energy is there. So it's a hard balance to decide how to brand yourself. And I appreciate your honesty and you sharing that that's not the easiest thing to figure out, like one clear message, right?
Yeah, big time. And focus has been a key word because I've been all over the place. And it's kind of the story of my life. I want to do it all. And you're talking about the motivation, the education. I want to do it all. And I'm hard headed. So I've tried to do it all and realize that when you get focused, it makes things a little bit easier. And I love what Stan said. Yes, and I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of like what Kevin Garnett said when the Boston Celtics won the championship. Anything is possible. So I'm on a journey to show that anything is possible. If little nappy-headed Larry Long Jr., back when I had hair, can speak and serve for a living, anyone out there can do this. I mean,
what are you talking about? If Larry, you have this, I don't know what you were like as a little kid, but you have a very, very high level of this energy and this kindness and this enthusiasm and also good listening skills. Like if you can do it, yeah, you can do it. Of course you can do it, but that doesn't mean the rest of it. You're being very humble.
It does, Jessica, because I used to get in trouble in school for talking. I used to talk too much and never shut up. And now I've turned that into a career that actually helps people. And I'm just sharing. I'm not something special. I'm just a normal person.
No,
I believe I believe that everyone has greatness inside of them in some realm. It might not be professional speaking, but like you said, for the folks that are geniuses, scientists, lawyers, finding your zone of genius and running with it, you can do it. But a lot of times people fall in to just whatever it is, and they're noodling on what that true passion is, and they never, ever pursue it. I think they said that the place that holds the most dreams is the graveyard, which is so unfortunate. Dreams unfulfilled, dreams that haven't even. I talk to my neighbors and I ask them, are you happy with what you do? And they're like, no. I'm like, well, why are you doing what you're doing? Just because? And I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm gonna pray for you, because that just seems like I wish the best. I wish that folks would have the belief in self to pursue their passion. And we can come up with every excuse. Believe you me, I'm guilty as charged. And that's why I wrote the book Jolt. I was going to call it Unstuck, because at the time I was stuck. I said, what am I here on this earth for? What am I doing with my life? What are you doing, Larry?
I've really enjoyed this. It's like you're honest, you're enthusiastic, and you're telling it how it is in the process to getting the life that you dream of, and even better. I just got a quote from a friend who was at GSS as well in Bali, and I wrote it on my wall. It says, "May 2025 exceed your most crazy expectations."
Wow. Jessica,
Mm,
come on now. I'm
my
I'm I'm hopeful that we can all thrive in
mm.
2025. Boom, boom.
Oh, you can only do that so many times in your lifetime. Thrive in 2085. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, it's been it's been a pleasure. I've asked you some hard questions and you've answered them well. Thanks for your time. Thanks for believing in everyone and also saying that it's hard work. That's pretty much what it takes to do a dream and to be yourself in this world, right?
That's right. I appreciate you, Jessica. Keep shining your light bright. Keep shining your light brilliantly. And I can't wait to catch up with you when I have an engagement in España and Barcelona, Las Ramblas. And
Ooh,
I'll
Las
see you in
Ramblas.
Australia, the land down under in 2026.
That is when the next GSS is. Well, speaking of Barcelona, if your wife would come, we're having a retreat with Luisa. If you see her over here, she's the world champion of public speaking 2024 of Toastmasters. And she is my beautiful 63-year-old Mexican, first Hispanic to ever win the world championship friend. And she's coming over from Texas to give workshops and sessions to women. So we're pretty excited for May 31st.
Congratulations. I'm going to make sure I shout that out and keep shining bright, Jessica.
Thanks,
JB.
JLLJ. Okay.
Close enough. We'll
We're not gonna
go
end on
back
that
to the
one.
drawing board.
Say something funny so we don't end on me going, please.
No, it was an absolute honor, privilege, and pleasure. And yeah, let's keep impacting the world with our words, our stories, our lessons learned. And what I learned from Stan Phelps, our lessons earned.
Oh. Hey, man. Okay. We're out.
Peace.
Bye. Peace. Peace.